Hey guys, I have a podcast that I just got in that I'm going to be editing, and I wanted to break down sort of like how I set it up and how I go about finishing edits for my customers. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to like load everything up first. So the first thing that I'm going to need to do is I know that I have 9 different audio sources. So I'm gonna need to open 9 of these audio clips here in Fruity Loops. Normally we have 2 microphones because there's 2 hosts for the show. But on this episode there is a third person, so there's an extra person that they have. I'm not sure who it is, but basically what had happened is they had to restart the recording 2 separate times. So there's essentially 3 microphones 3 times, so that's why there's 9. So we're gonna have to load that in. There's also intro, outro, and the break cue. So altogether, we've got a lot of audio clips to load in. So the way that I have this set up, every number 1 will be one person, every number 2 will be one person, every number 3 will be one person. And then we're also gonna have like intro, outro, and then the transition, which will go here, just so, in case I need to like mess with the volume, or like sometimes I'll add like effects and stuff, so that's something that we'll mess with at some point. Okay, so we have all of our audio clips. Now we need to load in the audio. So I just downloaded it, so I'm just gonna like open it. Basically, yeah, we're just loading in everyone's mic right now, and then we can kind of move on with the rest of the shit. But yeah, I have like a folder that has all of their assets in it for this right here. So we need the intro, which we'll insert later. We'll do the outro. So basically, having all this stuff in here will make it easier for us later so that we don't have to like mess around with stuff. And I also just realized there is one extra clip we're gonna need. Oops, I messed up on this one too. So that one is a thing. And then I also need, wait, intro, break. Something got messed up here, but that's okay. I think I clicked the same one twice. So, we're gonna take the first 3, which are presumably the first 3 bits, and we're just gonna like figure out if we got the right stuff here.
I bet it was a struggle.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. Yeah, that one was
Oh god. Uh,
yeah.
okay, so I gotta figure out which one's the first one. This could be hard, actually.
I bet.
I mean, it was hard not to get hard while filming.
But aside from dick pills, let's talk about something else that is guaranteed to get people hard. And we're back talking.
Huh. Normally, it's the first 3, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. For one, it was
That was probably one of my favorite parts when you popped.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty confused right now.
Yeah, I know I was your roommate. Hello and welcome back to Robots Don't Age, the podcast where we normally talk shit about the character Po from Kung Fu Panda, because fuck that guy. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about
Alright, I think
episode 2 of Who Asked.
I think that we might have figured out where we're starting here. Shit.
And of course, to do that today,
to be fair, normally it's the first 3, so I'm kind of surprised. Maybe that's probably my fault the way I
and
downloaded it.
of course, to do that today, I have with me CJ. How you doing?
doing just fine, mister. How you doing?
Good. If people aren't familiar, CJ, of course, is the person that appears in most of the skits, does all the
We're also
editing,
gonna
a fair
save
amount of the
this.
directing. And with us today is our friend and co-host, Kiani. Kiani,
I
how you
actually
doing?
don't know what they're
What's up
titling
there,
this episode.
buddy? I'm doing good.
Who asked for this episode 2? Huh. I guess that's what we're gonna call it. Okay. Yeah, I normally like to label this a very, very specific way. So basically I have each episode the raw or the edited file and shit, as well as making a new folder for every episode I do. Having every episode labeled, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then the title after, so I can search by number and by title of the episode. So who asked for this too? I'm just gonna use an abbreviation because I'm fine with that. So now we have everything loaded in, at least for the very first part. I'll deal with the places that need to be cut when I need to, because since there are 2 separate places where it needs to be stitched together, I'm not going to worry about that till I get there. Because I know this is where we start. And I'm just going to edit and assemble. So,
That appears in most of the skits, does all the editing, a fair amount of the directing.
I'm going to turn this up a little bit.
That appears in most of the skits, does all the editing, a fair amount of the directing. And with us today is our friend and co-host, Kiani. Kiani, how you doing?
What's up there, buddy? I'm doing good.
All
Doing
right.
aight?
Doing aight.
Doing aight?
I'm doing.
Okay, so this is a great example right off the bat of where I have to make some decisions. Whose voice gets to stay? You know what I mean? Like, when there is some overlapping stuff where you have,
All right. So,
everyone kind of talking
Doing aight?
at the same time-ish, and it sounds like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
all
Doing
right.
aight?
Oh, did you,
because that's the hard thing about, recording stuff and not being in person. You can't look at someone and be like, oh, they're about to talk. Like, even if, hypothetically they used webcams, which I have no idea. I mean, it's easy just to use a microphone, so it's probably what they're doing, but so yeah, it's a great example right off the bat of where I need to make a decision, who gets to stay, or do I realign it. So let's kind of mess around for a second and see.
all
Doing
right.
aight?
Doing aight.
So let's listen to this whole thing. real
Kiani,
quick.
how you doing?
What's up there, buddy? I'm doing good.
All
Doing
right.
aight?
So what I'm gonna do is make a few cuts here real quick, and then I'm basically, she says that she's doing aight, and then Cody says something. We'll make it sound like a response.
I'm doing good.
Doing aight?
All right. So,
Doing aight.
doing aight?
I'm doing aight, bro.
Let's see. Maybe
I'm doing good.
Doing aight?
Oh, did you doing aight?
Doing aight.
kind of make it sound more like they're just kind of joking around or something. I'm doing aight. You doing aight? I'm doing aight.
Host Kiani. Kiani, how you doing?
What's up there, buddy? I'm doing good.
Doing aight?
Oh, did you doing aight?
Doing aight. I'm doing aight, bruh.
Now the pacing's a little messed up, but that's kind of what you I find that I need to do a lot, where I'm adjusting it by very small increments and whatnot. I also save so often because I run into problems sometimes, and well,
Co-host Kiani. Kiani, how you doing?
What's up there, buddy? I'm doing good.
Doing aight?
Oh, did you doing aight?
Doing aight. I'm doing aight, bruh. Doing
Doing
aight.
aight over here, you know?
Aight over here, know what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
I can't complain. No, I can't complain.
let's see.
I mean, it's gonna be old news, but
Over here, you know?
I'm
Aight over here,
not
know
sure
what
how
I'm
much of that
saying?
I
I
keep.
can't complain. No, I can't complain.
Yeah, this is another part where decision making comes in, where you're well, I don't want to take too much away from what they're doing.
Co-host.
I want people's personalities to come through and whatnot, so I don't want to take out banter and whatnot. But obviously it's kind of tough when you have 3 people. You have to decide what's acceptable. So I have to kind
Co-host
of
Kiani.
feel that
Kiani,
out
how
a
you
little
doing?
bit.
What's up there, buddy? I'm doing good.
Doing aight?
Oh, did you doing aight?
Doing aight. I'm doing aight, bruh. Doing
Doing
aight.
aight over here, you know?
Aight over here, know what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
I can't complain. No, I can't complain.
So what I might do is after they kind of stop talking about being aight, we'll just kind of slide some stuff over.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's gonna be old news.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
You know
So
what
like, oh, just a little bit of an adjustment.
I'm saying?
Right over here, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's gonna be old news by the time this comes out, but since we haven't talked about it, you know, on
So I
air,
think that's a
have
little
got-
bit more fluid. So when I have to make like more tedious edits like that, I will
Okay.
Doing aight?
listen.
Oh, did you do an eye?
Doing aight. I'm doing aight, bruh. Doing aight.
Right over here, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's gonna be old news by the time this comes out, but
Yeah,
since
I
we
think that
haven't talked-
sounds better already. So because like the alternative to that would be to just delete some of it. Like delete like a person's response, like pick one person to say like the I, and then basically from there have to like decide what else to take out, because I probably can't just take out one person. And I do have to kind of keep track of like, all right, well, how many times did I remove his voice versus her voice? I'm trying to make sure that everyone gets a nice balance to like, since everyone's kind of like a co-host, I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to like say what they have to say, have their personalities come through the audio without me messing that up. And sometimes it's tough because I like to edit out certain things, like if people are saying like a lot, I'll try to remove some of it, especially if I get like an but or so. I can cut out the and use the other word as like a pivot point for clipping. So it's great. I love that. Another thing I like is when like if you say you mess something up, you just stop and just re-say it. It's great because then I can just delete the old one and then use the new take. But yeah, so yeah, we haven't got very far and we've already made some decisions about this.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's gonna be old news by the time this comes out, but since we haven't talked about it, on air, I have gotten engaged since the last time we recorded, so yeah. Yeah.
And also too, like part of me wants to add like an audio clip of something here, since like getting engaged is a big deal. That could be an opportunity for me to insert something of some sort, which I'm not really sure just yet, but sometimes I can find samples, like free stuff that is like just like basically like free like effects and stuff. Sometimes I can do that. Other times I'll just make it. It depends on what's easier for me. And also it's important to know like using some of these like free effects and stuff, I think are pretty well suited to things like a podcast. Not something that I would use in like my music, but like sort of decorating a podcast I think is a little different than making like a song, for example. So all right, so yeah, I'm thinking maybe an audio clip would be cool here. Or when he says he got engaged.
Yeah.
Like maybe like We Are the Champions or something. Like that'd be fun. Like find a little clip of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a chant.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
that was the
not.
thing we do.
That was not. That was not anything. Don't make any false connections to that noise. Okay? You hear me out there.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises.
That's just.
Yeah, I know I was
Noise.
your roommate and you always had a guy over. It was really weird to walk by the room.
Okay, so one thing to consider too that I've kind of mentioned is like dynamic, right? So having three people does change the dynamic of like the conversation. So I don't think that it's practical for one person to be talking strictly when there's three. There is going to be some overlap, so I kind of don't want to take away too much. I just want to take away things that are distracting to the overall point of what is being said.
You hear me out there.
I make a lot.
And also things like this where I'm like, what is this? So that kind of sounds like a noise. It's not like, it doesn't sound like a uh-huh or like yeah or anything like that. So we'll get rid of that and just be looking out for things like
You hear
that.
me out there.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises.
That's just.
Yeah, I know I was
noise.
your roommate and you.
Okay, so here I might get rid of.
noises.
That's
you know
just
what I'm
that's
saying?
just
Yeah, I know I was
Noise.
your roommate.
Well, what does he say here?
that's just noise.
I could just. Okay, let's see. So he says it's just noise.
Noises.
That's
you know
just
what I'm
that's just
saying?
Yeah, I know I was
Noise.
your roommate and you.
Yeah, I don't know when I would want him to say
there.
it.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises.
That's
you know
just
what I'm
that's
saying?
just
Yeah, I know I was
Noise.
your.
Okay, so
There.
this is what I'm thinking. We'll clip it here, right? We're gonna scoot this stuff over. We're gonna shorten this so it sounds like he is saying it more immediately. We're also gonna shift this over so it sounds like he says it after Kiani.
there.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises. You know what I'm saying?
That's just noise.
Yeah, I know.
But I need to overlap it better than that. And also, I think what I'm gonna do is take. Oop. Okay. Well, his. Shit. I have to shorten this up so I don't select it. Okay, just a little
There.
bit.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises. You know what I'm saying?
That's just noise.
Yeah, I know I was your roommate.
Maybe we can go just a little further. There's a lot of trial and error with some of this stuff
There.
where I
I
have to
make
kind
a
of
lot
like
of
hear it.
weird mouth noises. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
just noise.
Yeah, I know I was your roommate and you always.
The only other thing that I could do is maybe delete him saying that and try it. Sometimes I'll do that too. I don't. That's kind of like my last approach because I don't like to get rid of stuff that's unnecessary. But sometimes it has to happen. So
Okay? You hear me out there.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know I was your roommate and you.
see, yeah, to me this makes more sense because he is replying to her specifically, and CJ's comment was more of
Okay?
a
You hear me out there.
supporting thing.
I make a lot of weird mouth noises. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know I was your roommate and you always had a guy over. It was really weird to walk by the room.
You
Did it
know.
sound like that?
Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
God.
a
like
lot
that.
wetter though. A lot more wetness to it.
Oh,
Some
man. Insert macaroni noise. I might have to do that.
Sound like that?
Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
God.
a
like
lot
that.
wetter though. A lot more wetness to it.
Some macaroni nest. Yeah.
In a pot.
So,
So I might have to find macaroni. Hold on, gotta do this now. All right, I'm dead ass. I have to find. Oh, slimy pasta stir, dude. That's, of course we have to get slimy pasta stir. Okay, so hold on. We got we gotta download this right away. It's very important. So this is another thing that I like to do is add dumb audio. And honestly too, like, part of me wanted to throw in like a ho ya. We're like, oh, like you're walking by the door and you hear noise. It's like ho ya. But I at the very least I'm just gonna add the macaroni sounds and then so. And I'm also gonna have to like shorten it because that, look at that. That's like, that's like the longest macaroni stir ever, dude. Okay, hold. I also gotta make it fit within the time frame here, and also going to need to automate the volume to change the fade in and fade out. Okay, so fade in just a little bit. I don't want to start out silent, but let's see. Okay, so we go out. Okay, and then we gotta trim it so that it's not obnoxious, but
yeah.
In a pot.
So on the macaroni scale, are we talking?
all right. I also think it needs to be a little louder in general.
Yeah.
So he said
More wetness to it.
Some macaroni nest. Yeah.
In a pot.
So on the macaroni.
maybe after she says in a
In a
pot.
pot.
Yeah, macaroni in a pot, and then like a pause.
In a pot.
So on the macaroni scale.
Yes, because then then we feature the macaroni sounds right there. It's perfect. Okay.
Some macaroni nest. Yeah.
In a pot.
So on the macaroni scale, are we talking?
Oh, that's great. Also, I kind of want to I really want to put something where he said he got engaged. All right, so yeah, like I said, I need to find some music for that. So let's level up. So it's a big part of doing what I do with this is finding stuff that I want to use for samples, but. That was intense. I'm not sure. I mean, it's short. I don't see. It's not like. We'll try it. We'll try it. I'm not sure if it's gonna work or not. It's kind of loud too, but I can turn it down. Come on. What's going on here? Okay.
Macaroni. Doing I?
Oh, did you do an eye?
Dude, I.
On air. I have gotten engaged since the last time we recorded.
Okay. This is where he
Since we haven't
says
talked
he's
about
getting-
it,
he got
on
engaged.
air. I have gotten engaged since the last time we recorded. So yeah. Yeah.
That was a chant.
Nice. All right. Yeah, we'll do that.
Since we haven't talked about it, on air. I have gotten engaged since the last time we recorded. So yeah. Yeah.
That was a chant.
Nice, dude. Okay, so I like that too. Little things go a long way when you're like doing this stuff. So I feel like adding stuff like, oh, it's this big epic thing. Like getting engaged is a big deal. So I mean, I feel like it's important to like do something there.
I've gotten engaged since the last time we recorded. So yeah. Yeah.
That
Just a little quieter. It's tough to get the balance right because it's just like an accenting thing. Okay, so we haven't done a whole lot just yet, but like that's kind of the idea, like lining stuff up in a way that sounds like the dialogue is natural, and then adding embellishments like the macaroni noises and stuff, eliminating talking at the same time and stuff. There is a couple other things that I do towards the end. Like for example, each one of these correspond to a specific track, right? So basically what I do is use EQ, and we're gonna solo the track. So I think it's this track. She's one. Yeah, so she's one. I need to find a spot where she's specifically just talking for a minute. Okay. Maybe a spot where she's not just laughing. Not that laughing's bad. I need dialogue for this specific. Okay, let's go over here and just listen to some dialogue because we're gonna do something called that frequency sweep.
I obviously didn't get them all because I created 10 cosmic beats.
So basically, I've taken the percentage to like a pinpoint in the frequency spectrum, and I've shot it all the way up, and I'm listening for things I don't like whistly sounds and weird noise.
I obviously didn't get them all because
Right here, reduce that.
I obviously didn't get them all because I created 10 cosmic
Another whistly
beings,
one.
and there are so many pride flags. So yeah. So I've been working on a commission piece. Currently, it's a small one, which is still cool, and then I've also been working on just kind of something for me, like my own original art, not so much the things that I've been dropping. I've also dropped my Pride Month collection, my Pride Month Cosmic Being collections, where I incorporate different pride flags. I obviously didn't get them all because I created 10 cosmic beings, and there are so many pride flags, so,
One thing I want to be
Yeah,
careful of
so-
is not to diminish her fundamental pitch. So I don't want to go too low. I feel like this is kind of pushing it, but if I have it like just a little bit, I think it's okay. You don't want to reduce the fundamental. That'll really mess up her voice. Okay. Another thing I like to do is I like to use my transient master. I think this might be a little bit of overkill, but I like to use the less room preset before the EQ to like dampen some of like their background noise if there is any. And we're gonna save again because I am obsessed with making sure I don't lose anything. And then the only other thing that I might do, and I do not typically do it on her voice, but sometimes I'll use the frequency splitter in the mastering curve and then adjust
I've
like
been working on a commission piece currently. It's a small one, which is still cool. And then I've also been working on just kind of something for me, like my own original art, not so much the things that I've been dropping. I've also dropped my Pride Month collection, my Pride Month Cosmic Being collections, where I incorporate different Pride flags. I obviously didn't get them all because I created 10 Cosmic Beings, and there are so many Pride flags. So yeah. So I've been working on a commission piece currently. It's a small one, which is still.
Another thing we could do potentially is use Nectar Elements, and then what I'll do is I'll set it to dialogue, and then usually light so it doesn't go crazy, and then we gotta play it.
I obviously didn't get them all because I created 10 Cosmic Beings, and there are so many.
This is
Pride
usually a
flags,
pretty
so,
decent way to go about it, but
yeah. So I've been working on a commission piece currently. It's a small
the
one,
frequency
which is,
thing,
still cool.
the frequency sweep that we did
and
should
then
help
I've
bring
also
some
been working
clarity,
on
and then
just
basically
kinda
the
something
nectar will help
for me, like my
any
own
of the
original
balancing
art.
issue. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. I tend to use the frequency splitter more on like male voices to boost the low register. Not really super necessary for the female voice. So yeah, it's the idea is that, so all of track 1 is designated for Kiani then. So that's what I was saying earlier when I was setting up this, where all these numbers, like each number 1 is Kiani. And if for some reason the audio is not, I need to change the channel so that it is, so that I have all of Kiani's effects here, right? So that they don't change. And then I could have Cody's and CJ's on different channels. Because they are not going to have the same issues in their frequency spectrum for 2 reasons. One, you have, they're both, male versus female. So that's going to change where the bass note of your voice sits, as well as just like, everyone talks differently anyway too. So your manner of talking, your like how high or low your voice is, whether you're a man or a woman, these are all things that are going to matter. So that's why they're not all the same. They're going to be a little different. In most cases a lot different, but yeah, that's pretty much the idea. We're just going through, aligning things as they need to be aligned, inserting fun things, and then basically just doing it throughout all of this. And then towards the end, like I was saying, how there's like a cutoff, like here, that's where I'd be stitching together the next 3, and then so on. Because if you remember, we only have so many of these out right now, so. But yeah, guys, that's the idea. If you need editing services for your podcast, I've been charging $30 for up to an hour. If you need a lot of extra things done, I would probably charge a little bit more. Or I would charge it separately as part of like my custom music services. So like say for example that you wanted some podcast edits, right? And you do it consistently. Over time, we're going to build assets together, and that won't necessarily cost you any more money per se. But let's say that you hit me up for like a podcast edit or like continuous edits, and you need like an intro song that's like 30 seconds long, and you also need all this other extra stuff. I can definitely make that happen, but I think that once you're requesting certain things, it will cost a little bit. But if it's something where I've been doing a podcast for a while and I'm like kind of trying to help you create like some brand identity, then that's a little different. But for the most part, like simple requests aren't going to cost you anything extra. But if you have anything that's elaborate or sort of falls more under like my custom music, that will be kind of its own thing. But yeah, $30 $30 for up to an hour's worth of audio edits. You know, double the price for more than an hour, and then so on for each additional hour. You just add $30. But the turnaround time usually is a couple of days, but I will give myself a full week to my customer so that just in case something happens, I'm covered. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this behind the scenes episode here. I hope that it gives you some insight on what using my service does. Like I said, I can make music and I can make jingles. I can do all these extra things for your podcast too. It just depends on what you need, how quickly you need these assets to be made. Because like I said, if you need a bunch of assets made at like one time, I'm going to charge you for the assets. But if it's something where over the course of like, you know, 10 episodes, you've eventually acquired some extra like sound effects and maybe like a jingle, it's not a big deal. So it just depends on the situation. So, but yeah, guys, that's all for today's video. If you have any feedback, please feel free to comment below. And if you like my content, do subscribe for more.